The second technique of Owaza Ju Pon is called Kubi Guruma. Kubi relates to the activity of his neck, the bend of the neck. Guruma activity is that turning of the body this way, the rotation of the body in space, rotating along its long axis. So Kubi Guruma is a rotation that's going to happen from the neck and rotate in that way. You often see forms of this activity that will result in less Guruma type throws and more Otoshi throws, and we'll talk about that as we go. When you actively set up the throw, what's happening as his hand rises, we make our contact right here at the wrist, just a light yoking touch using primarily the little finger and the thumb. The second hand is coming just around to grasp without any gripping function, but a hooking function with the hand around the man's neck. Then we're tractoring our body away from him, moving in a long, elaborate ellipse. And this has a function of delivering energy to him, not unlike what you see sometimes with ice skaters. If we have our hands hooked together, and he leans away from me, and I lean away from him, even though I'm bigger than him, and we get a little of each other's body weight, and we start rotating, he feels this strong pulling function between the hands as our centers are trying to fly away. That is the same activity that's going on to cause the throw to go in these particular throwing conditions of Owaza Ju Pon. So as we set up Kubi Guruma, his hand comes up, we make our position, we flow away from him, we throw him, I don't know, 180 degrees over there, or pretty close to it, from the line that he takes off on. And it's a body tractoring away, this feeling of pulling tension away through the entire activity. And what you'd like to see is your feet continue moving until he goes all the way to the ground. And so that tractoring activity, that pulling draw, happens all the way until they break loose contact, whenever that is. You see forms of this in which they take that same spiral, and often people start with this. They take the same spiraling activity of their hip, this big, broad turning action, and they condense it down to a very tight turning action. And in that case, you get something much more like, like this. And notice how he fell pretty much down the line he came on. That's indicative of more of an Otoshi. Now, the structure that I put on him was the same. I placed my hands in the same position. My arms had to collapse a little bit because I had to turn tight. But you can experiment. The tighter you turn, the tighter you make this rotation of your body in your Big Ten action, the more you'll probably wind up with more Otoshi feeling activity. And then the broader that you make it, the larger the turning actions that you set on him, the more Guruma-esque action happens. You can have a form of this that's extremely Guruma, where you just way. Yeah, everything's like hugely broad and very expansive. And you can have forms that are very contracted. All of them exist, but you might consider calling the one that's very tight and throws him right down here as more of like a Kubi Otoshi, and the broader expanded form that flattens his body out more is Kubi Guruma. The Kubi Guruma is what we're looking for because, again, we like to see the activity of the body separating at the end of the technique. Thank you. Thank you.